So an evidence-based practice is one that has been rigorously measured over time, and data and program evaluation proves that the outcomes are achieved if certain steps are measured and certain interventions are done in a certain pattern, in a certain way. And they receive the designation of an evidence-based practice through that rigorous evaluation, usually a quasi-experimental design or an experimental design where you can test the outcomes against a control group to make sure that implementing an intervention in a certain way works.
So then we have this issue of fidelity to the model, right? And making sure that an evidence-based practice is not only chosen, but being followed as prescribed. How do we know and how can we tell that we're following the evidence-based practice that we've chosen?
So in order to know that, organizations and programs have to measure their fidelity to the practice, meaning there has to be data and measurement that looks at both the process and the outcomes of the intervention being delivered. I liken it, this seems simplistic, but a good way to think about it is if you go to Starbucks, they have a process through which you order a drink. It should be the same drink received every time. That is the main theory of fidelity to an evidence-based practice. If a child or a family receives an intervention, it is done in a certain way that the outcome is positive at the end of that intervention. If you have potentially a new barista who has not been onboarded correctly and you place an order and you ask for a couple changes, what you get at the end, that coffee looks a little bit different. It might not be horrible tasting, but it is a little bit different. So if you look at it that way, although that's very simplistic, that's sort of the thought behind measuring fidelity and having fidelity to an evidence-based practice.